This is Family, Faith, and Traditions, Part 4. Italian tradition is filled with festivals celebrating saints, holidays, and important historical events in Italy. These were modified, of course, in various ways when Italians came to the United States. In Venice, they celebrate Carnevale di Venezia, a 2-week party in the early spring. It is marked by parties, parades, live performances of music, and most famously, masquerade balls. Masks are worn throughout Carnevale, whole costumes as a matter of fact, ranging from simple half-face masks to very elaborate full-face masks called bauta. Although family-friendly events are part of the celebration, the masks and the party atmosphere give Carnevale a reputation as a place where anything goes, kind of like those commercials you see for Las Vegas. In the United States, the celebration is limited to the Tuesday before Ash Wednesday and is known here as Mardi Gras. In this slide, you can see some of the outfits and masks in Venice, and on the right, you see the streets of New Orleans, where Mardi Gras is famously partied every single year. Scoppio del Carro translates as the explosion of the cart. This is an Easter festival held in Florence that marks the triumph of the First Crusade. Mimicking the supposed events of the Crusade and blending the holiday with the celebration of St. John, the celebrants build a magnificent cart in the shape of a tower. Then they have oxen pull the cart through the city. In a square outside the center of town, really outside the main cathedral called Piazza del Duomo, the oxen are then led away and Easter Mass is held. At the Mass's climax, someone lights fireworks attached to the tower. Those fireworks ignite other fireworks which cover the tower. This soon catches fire in a shower of colored sparks and explosions. The tower will eventually burn to the ground. In the United States, Palm Sunday and Good Friday commemorations are right before Easter. These events often include reenactments of the events spoken about in the New Testament. Palm Sunday was the day Jesus returned to his town, so to speak, and Good Friday is the day that Jesus was put on the cross. Then, 3 days later, on Easter Sunday, the celebration of Jesus' rising from the dead takes place. This is the major holiday in the Christian calendars. In this photograph, you can see that Easter is a time when everybody dresses up. It's spring after all, time for a new outfit, time for new shoes. The photograph to the far left in black and white was taken in the 1940s. The photograph on the left in color was taken in the 1960s. The dapper young man with the cane in that photograph is my brother, and of course that's me standing next to him. I don't really look too happy. I guess I didn't like the hat. The photographs in the center are photographs of eggs. Eggs are symbolic of rebirth, and you see them all over on Easter. I'm sure you've seen them in many Easter baskets in the form of chocolate eggs. These eggs are not chocolate. On the bottom, these are made out of porcelain, and many Italian homes have bowls of these at Easter time. On the top is a sweet bread that is baked with hard-boiled eggs in it to celebrate the rebirth of spring. In the summer, a major holiday is Ferragosto. Traditionally, it was simply a period of relaxation. In fact, Italians used to take the entire month of August off as a vacation. The Catholic Church eventually incorporated the holiday, making it into a celebration of the Virgin Mary. Modern Italians typically celebrate this as a national holiday on August 15th. And by the way, they don't just get one day off, it's usually multiple days. In practice, it bears some resemblance to the American holiday of Independence Day, with families enjoying the beach, cooking food together, and taking part in recreational activities. Oh, and of course, once again, there are fireworks. Some Italian religious traditions are shared with other cultures. Several are shared with Latino communities. Palm Sunday, Good Friday, the Three Kings. The Christmas season does not really end in Italy until January 6th. This is the Feast of the Epiphany, which is also celebrated as Three Kings Day. But more colloquially, January 6th is known as La Befana. The Epiphany is a religious holiday which has become a national holiday in Italy. That means that businesses, schools, and government offices will be closed to observe the day. Within the Catholic Church, the Feast of the Epiphany is based on the tale of the three wise men, also known as the Three Kings or the Magi, who brought gifts of frankincense, myrrh, and gold to the baby Jesus. In the Catholic Church, this is the 12th day of Christmas. The Vatican will mark the day with a special Mass and a parade of faithful bearing symbolic gifts for the Pope. It is the same in secular culture, because, after all, many of these religious traditions have been made secular. The same is true at Christmas, so that on the one hand there's the celebration of Christ's birth, and on the other hand we see the bringing of gifts from Santa Claus, and the same occurs on the Epiphany. According to Italian legend, La Befana, who is a witch-like woman riding on a broom, refused to join the three wise men. Well, women often do that, I guess, right? We want to go our own way. But instead of joining them on their journey to see the baby Jesus, she later regrets the decision, and then she sets out to bring gifts to the child but never finds him. So instead, she leaves gifts for other children. Italian children leave out their shoes or put up stockings for La Befana to fill on January 5th, which is Epiphany Eve. And the legend continues that every Epiphany Eve, the old, tattered, and soot-covered Befana flies around the world on a broomstick and comes down chimneys to deliver candy and presents to children who have been good during the year. I hope that sounds familiar. For those who have fallen a bit short of model behavior, La Befana will leave lumps of coal. Knowing that all kids can't be perfect year-round, some shops in Italy sell carbone, or black rock candy, that actually looks like pieces of coal. So even those not quite perfect children can still enjoy a sweet treat. Unlike Santa Claus, La Befana has been an Italian tradition since the 13th century and comes from a Christian legend rather than popular culture. As you can see in this photograph, there are dolls you can buy of La Befana, and many women dress up as La Befana for the occasion. Some traditions have become worldwide traditions. For example, St. Francis of Assisi reportedly built a reproduction of the infant Christ's manger in the front of a church in Italy in the 11th century. The tradition of creating a nativity scene outside a church has spread around the world. In the United States, the tradition of the nativity scene now includes or has been bypassed, overturned by secular images of Christmas. This is why we see Christmas lights and decorations ranging from very modest to the most extravagant you see throughout New York City. Go to Dyker Heights sometime and see the lights there. In this slide, you can see images of the nativity scenes. They're called presepio in Italian. These two scenes are taken inside churches in Italy. Here, you see a more modest house in New York City decorated for Christmas. If you look at the upper right, you obviously see the nativity scene. Jesus, Mary, Joseph are there, as well as the three kings. Here again, outside someone's home, you see a lighted nativity. And finally, every year at holiday time, the various papers will tell you where to go to see the most extravagant lights. Here's one example, and this is perhaps one of my favorites. However, you have to pay attention because amid all the Santa Clauses, stars, various soldiers, there are still angels, and there will always be a nativity in the middle of this. As societies become more secular, the beloved religious traditions are transformed for modern sensibilities. We will certainly be celebrating Easter soon, which is the most significant holy day in the Catholic calendar. And it may be one of the few days a year that baptized Catholics actually attend church. Yet now Easter is as much about bunnies and candy as it is about the risen Christ. None of this is unique to Italian immigrants. Give some thought to how your culture approaches family, faith, and tradition. You are welcome to share your remarks and your reflections on the discussion board.